So if I were to start my business today, I wouldn't even pick up a brush to begin with. Like most people, they start their business. How do they start? You book a job, you start producing the job, you make a little bit of money, and now you can find another job, and then you book a job, and hopefully you can get out of the book a job, do a job cycle. The only way to get out of the book a job, do a job cycle is to get out of the cycle yourself proactively.
Welcome to the Painter Growth Podcast, where we help you scale your painting company in record time. Join us as we explore sales, marketing, hiring, finances, leadership, and more, everything that you need to know to scale and grow your painting business. I hope you enjoy and subscribe. Hey guys, this episode has been generously sponsored by Drip Jobs. If you're looking to save time, close more jobs, Drip Jobs is the CRM built specifically for painting contractors. You can manage your leads, automate your follow-up, build proposals, and send invoices all in one place. And with powerful tools like production rates and job costing, it will allow you to work smarter, not harder. So I really recommend trying Drip Jobs to see how it can help streamline your business. And we have a link for you in the description. Check out the special offer for this podcast now. What's up, everybody? Mike Hickman here, founder of PainterGrowth.com, and you're listening to a solo episode of the Painter Growth Podcast, where you're just going to hang out with me for the next several minutes, multiple minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes to get through what I want to talk about today. Now, the topic I want to talk about today is a pretty relevant one right now when it comes to our clients and people we talk to, and a lot of the painting contractors, specifically the smaller guys, doing less than 30, 40K a month. If you're doing less than 30, 40K a month, then you need to listen to this episode. And the topic is why painting is ruining your painting company. Specifically, why being a painter in your painting company is ruining your painting company. So what does that even mean? So if you own a painting company, you probably feel like I should be a painter. I run a painting business, so I should be a painter. I should be spending my days painting. Hopefully I can find some people to help me paint, because that's going to be the best thing that I can do. And honestly, painting feels great. It feels productive. It feels helpful. You feel like you're working towards your goals. You're making money. You're collecting that check. But you're really stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. Now I'll explain what that means, at least what I mean by that here. So when you're painting, and I've talked about this a couple of times on this podcast in different types of ways and lights and focuses and things like that. But for this one in particular, painting is really only earning your business between $50 and $100 per hour. And I'm going to show you some math in a little bit. I'm going to walk you through some math, but essentially what the math says, if your business is, doing 50% gross margin, meaning you're spending 50% on labor and paint together, and you have 50% left over, even with reasonable overhead for a smaller business, you should be able to replace your salary as the owner with 2 full-time painters. So if you have 2 full-time painters working for you, the amount of money that they generate for you will be equivalent to you producing on your own. Now, you need twice as much work, of course, for them to be producing for you to make that much money, but it's worth it because you're going to have all of your time back. It's a short-term trade that you only get to make once, and that's at the start of your business when you're small, is getting off the tools and replacing that. So if you on your own can produce 15K in a month, which is on the high end of what someone can produce, maybe 2 painters will produce 25,000 in a month. And just to kind of run that math real quick, if you're able to have 2 painters producing $25,000 per month, that's about 70 production hours per week at an $85 an hour charge rate. And at $25,000, if you're able to make a 50% gross margin, minus say, $3,500 per month in overhead, that's $9,000 in net profit that you can make after paying for paint and labor by being off the tools. So the crazy thing is that you will have all of your time back. And what you're going to find out really quickly as a business owner, as a small business owner, is that you don't actually have that much time. Your time is going to be gone doing other things, other way more important things than painting. You're going to be doing sales, setting up marketing campaigns, doing estimates, talking to homeowners, scheduling jobs, doing your bookkeeping, tracking your numbers, going through your painter growth training, becoming a better business owner. All of these other things are more valuable than simply painting your business. And the endeavor in business, what most business owners try to do who are growth oriented, right? Keep in mind, if you're listening to this podcast, you're a growth oriented painting contractor. You're a growth oriented business owner, meaning that you're trying to grow. Now, there's a number of reasons, probably unlimited number of reasons of why someone might be growing their money, but I think it probably boils down to a few core reasons. Number one, they're trying to make more money, right? And more money is a symptom of like what people truly want, but like more money is a really good thing to have because it gives you a certain level of comfort. And but after a certain amount of money, the comfort doesn't increase really any more than that. Any more than, I don't know what the new numbers are, but at one point it was like 80,000 a year. Maybe it's like 100,000 a year now based on cost of living and stuff like that. But let's say it's 80. So for you to make, $80,000 a year, if you can reliably make $80,000 per year and you're living within your means, you're going to be comfortable. All your needs are going to be met. You're going to have some leftover income to do some fun stuff. And you're no longer chasing that like need for comfort, right? And shelter and food. Anything above that is bonus, right? And lots of things that people want to do on top of that. They want to save for education for their kids. They want to go on great vacations. They want to buy nice things and buy a bigger house and all of these things, but they're not mandatory for quality of life, right? Just for like life satisfaction or just being secure and safe. So that's one reason is to make more money, to increase the kind of where you're at on that Maslow's hierarchy of needs into that, self-fulfillment type of level. Because if you're worried about you don't have food to put on your table for next week, it's really hard to think about like self-actualization and, charitable giving and things like that when like you're in that fight or flight mindset. So what are some other reasons? We talked about education and what I've found recently, like for my business is actually, sorry, not quite yet. We'll get to that in a moment. So there's money, and the next is just growing something because it's like very satisfying to grow something. And I definitely feel this. Like I love growing my business. I love working on something. I love feeling like I have purpose and I'm having impact. But just growing something is a lot of fun and it's very fulfilling. And then the third thing is impact, right? What is the impact that you're trying to make on your community, on your family, and on the world that you wouldn't be able to make if you didn't have a big business or a bigger business? So now for Painter Growth, like I enjoy donating to various causes that I feel very close to. I like making an impact in my community locally, as well as supporting the industry through various presentations and talks and education and content, and like a lot of impact that I can have now, because my business is in a point where I am able to spend my time doing these types of things. So figure out what you really want, but some people, and there's nothing wrong with this, but like I said, like preface this saying, because you're listening to this Painter Growth podcast, you are a growth oriented painting contractor. So that means you probably want to chase growth. So, but what I'm saying is, not chasing growth and just being okay with a small business where just one or two painters and you're just cruising along, making money and painting all day and going home at the end of the day. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. But you just need to know, where do you want to go? What is your goal? What does your path look like? Once you can get clear on that, then it's going to make the next steps a lot easier. So back to the topic, painting is ruining your painting company. If you're painting on the tools, you're only making your business about $50 per hour net profit. Sorry, gross margin. Not even net profit, just gross margin. And a really cool calculation that I like to make is contribution margin per hour. Now, per painter. So again, that is contribution margin per hour per painter. Contribution margin and gross margin are both about the same thing, but contribution margin is related to parts of a job, whereas gross margin is related to an entire job. So gross margin is how much is left over after paying paint and labor. Contribution margin is on an hourly basis, how much each painter generating in terms of gross margin on an hourly basis. So if you have a $85 charge rate on this one job, every hour, paint and labor together, sorry, not hourly. If you have a $10,000 job and it ends up taking 120 hours to produce, that becomes an $83 an hour charge rate. So that's 83. 10,000 divided by 120 is 83. So that's $83 per hour. And that's like your all-in cost divided by your all-in number of hours. Now, if I want to calculate how much my contribution margin was, meaning how much each painter made me in gross profit every single hour they were on the job site, I would now need to take that $83 per hour and subtract the amount that I'm paying them. So if it's $83 per hour minus, say I'm paying them $28 an hour, and then say I've got to take the proportion of paint, so I'd say $1,000 of paint, so that'd be another 10. So that's $45 per hour in gross margin. So it's 83 minus 28 minus 10. So what that means is that every single hour one of those painters was on site for me, they were making $45 for the business. So if I had 3 painters working on that site at a time, that means every single hour that crew of 3 was working for me, they were making in basically gross profit $135 per hour. Now, as a solo painter, as you being the business owner and working on the business, sure, you can make the argument that, oh, you paint a little bit faster, you carry a little bit more, your quality is a little bit better. And so that's fine, but not that much more. Not so much that you're making 3 times as much as as a painter, right? And you keep working those numbers, right? So that if you can get to 10 painters, which would be amazing, right? 10 painters in a week at that rate, $85 an hour charge rate, 40. That's 146,000 a month with those 10 painters. So that's a very, that's a respectable sized business. But at that level, 10 times 45, you're making $450 an hour net profit, gross profit from those 10 painters working for you. That's $3,600 per day, not of production, but of profit. And over a month, you're looking at $72,000. So it's all about a game of scale. Where are you right now in your business and where do you want to get to? And are you doing the things in your business that $1 million business owner would do? Would $1 million business owner spend his time or her time on the tools? Would they be on the job site? Would they be rolling paint? Would they be pouring into trays? Like, is this what $1 million painting business owner would do? Or are they setting up marketing initiatives? Are they recruiting painters? Are they training and developing skill sets? Are they doing high value estimates, creating these relationships, right? Anything but painting. So if I were to start my business today, I wouldn't even pick up a brush to begin with. Like most people, they start their business. How do they start? You book a job, you start producing the job, you make a little bit of money, and now you can find another job, and then you book a job, and hopefully you can get out of the book a job, do a job cycle. The only way to get out of the book a job, do a job cycle is to get out of the cycle yourself proactively. You're never going to get out of it by just booking another job while still doing a job. You have to get out of it proactively. And how you do that is by taking a little bit of a risk. Business is all about taking calculated risks. And if you're too scared to take a risk, then maybe just reevaluate where you want to be with your business. As my business grows, at Painter Growth now, I find myself taking bigger and bigger risks. I'm not taking $1,000 risks or $5,000 or $10,000. Now I'm taking $50,000 risks, $100,000 risks, $250,000 risks, because I know where I want to go with this business. My vision is very clear. I know what we need to do to get there. And as these risks and these opportunities present themselves, I need to take a calculated measure approach and determine whether or not this is a risk that I want to take on. So quick aside, like our vision of Painter Growth now is to bridge the gap in business education in the painting industry and provide painting contractors the necessary business skills that they need to lift themselves out of their financial situations they're currently in. So in order to bridge that gap and essentially eventually help 10,000 painting contractors within the next 11 years, we need to take some big risks. We need to be a big industry player here. And that's not going to be super easy, but I believe we can do it, especially with your support. So thank you for listening to this. Now, on the flip side, where you're at right now, your risks that you're taking on are not $50,000 risks or $100,000 risks, at least not yet. They will be, but right now you need to take the $5,000 risk. Okay, you need to hire a painter to replace you, and you need to be okay losing out on your production that you might not be doing because you have better things to do. You need to be out there booking more work. You need to be out there doing more estimates, running marketing initiatives, hiring a door-to-door team, calling property managers, getting door hangers out, hiring a team to get door hangers out, right? If you want to grow a big business, you need to start thinking and acting like a big business owner. Makes sense, right? It's a lot easier said than done, but when it actually comes, the push comes to shove and you're staring down the barrel of this like hire that you don't necessarily feel like you can afford right now, but you know that you can't be on the job site for the next 5 days because you got shit to do, right? It's a very different situation than, me talking about it here on my podcast. As a business owner right now, I'm not just talking about it. Every business is similar at some level. And so me running my business now, I have a team. I have a big team. I have $100,000 per month on payroll that I'm spending right now here. Like we take big bets. We're spending, $55,000 per month on Facebook ads. I'm sure you've seen my ads before. That's just what we're at right now. We've been higher than that. So we take big swings, but we know we take calculated approaches at these big swings because they will eventually pay off. Now, I encourage you to look at your business and think about what are the things that you can do in your business, some calculated risks that you can take that might pay off. Is it like if you're painting right now, or not like now, but like you do paint in your business, like I encourage you to get familiar with the numbers and figure out what needs to be true for you to stop painting altogether, or what the true impact would be if you were to stop painting altogether. Would it be as significant as you think it would be? Like, sure, it might hurt a little bit, especially in the short term, but do you think that, like, would your business be okay? Do you think you could, with the 40 hours per week of new time that you got, as long as you were being productive in those 40 hours, do you think you'd be able to get additional work for 1 or 2 more guys? Like, I hope so. And if you don't know what to do, then give me a call, like hit us up and like, we'll show you what to do. But that's the thing. It's like, as long as you know what the next thing is that you need to be doing and feeling productive at that next level, then you need to do it. You need to get out the tools, because I'm absolutely serious when I'm saying it. When I say this, if your vision is to grow a big painting company, 5 painters, 10 painters, 50 painters, what are you doing on the tools right now? It's counterproductive because it's eating up the one resource that you can never get back. And that's time. Every single day, you are the oldest you've ever been. Right now, you listening to this, you're getting old. You've never been older than you are right now. And guess what? Now you're even older than when I just said it a second ago. You're constantly getting older. So when are you going to take these big swings? When are you going to make these big bets? And some of them aren't even that big. Some of them just take courage. But the better that you know your numbers and know that you know your business and weigh the pros and the cons and the outcomes, and you know how to be more productive, the easier these decisions become. So didn't mean to get existential there. I didn't know where this was going. But really, when you think about it, painting, being the painter in your painting business is ruining your painting company if you have a desire to grow. Because you're listening to this podcast, I know that you have the desire to grow and you can do a lot better than you're currently doing. But you need to give yourself permission to succeed. Without permission, you're going to be stuck, and it's going to be hard, and it's not going to be comfortable, and you're going to feel like you're going backwards for a little bit, and you might make less money next month in terms of profit if you're not painting, but you're investing in yourself. You're investing in your business. You're setting up infrastructure so that you don't have to be on the tools all the time. Because if you can get your time back and you can have a couple of crews working for you, oh man, life will be so different, right? If you can imagine just waking up at 7 o'clock and having guys already on site, job was set up, paint was delivered. You just do a quick call with your job site manager. You check in with your foreman. Hey, how's it going? Good. You need anything? No. Cool. Then you roll out of bed, hit the gym, do some estimates in the late morning, go meet with some property managers in the afternoon, get out a marketing campaign early evening, go home for supper, pick up your kids from school. You don't have to be on the tools, right? Growing a big painting business, or growing a medium-sized painting business at least, is not super difficult. You just have to work on the right things and give yourself permission. Anyway, with that being said, if you don't know what the next step is for your business and you're stuck, hit the link. I'll put a link in the description here.
we can just do a quick call and see if we can help you get a bit of clarity. Even if you don't want to work with us, that's fine. We'll help you get some clarity. If not, that's totally fine. But if you need a bit of clarity on your direction, you can schedule a call with one of my coaches below, just completely for free, just see if we can help you. Again, don't want to be salesy or anything, but I do want to help you get that clarity so you can get off the tools, because it's important. It's more important than anything. So with that being said, hopefully you had a great last 19 and a half minutes. Peace. Thanks for listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. If you want to grow your painting business, go to www.paintergrowth.com or click on the top link in the description. Talk soon.